What's up, guys? Welcome back to Almost Functional. Here with the Drukhari Index. All I want to have left of this is Eldari, and then I'll be done with the indexes. So let's go ahead and jump into it. The army roll is Power from Pain. If your army faction is Drukhari, you gain tokens as follow. First battle round, you start with. Alright, if your army faction, you gain pain tokens as follows. The start of the battle, depending on the battle size. Strike force, you get 3 pain tokens. Each time an enemy unit is destroyed, you gain 1 pain token. Each time an enemy unit fails a battle shock test, you gain 1 pain token. Each time you gain a pain token, keep it to one side. This is your pain token pool. Alright, empowered through Fame. At the start of any phase, you can expend 1 or more pain tokens from your pain token pool. Each time you do, select 1 unit from your army with the Power from Pain ability. Till the end of the phase, that unit is empowered and gains abilities listed below, depending on the phase. Empowered in the movement or charge phase, you can reroll advance or charge rolls. Empowered in the shooting or fight phase, you can reroll the hit roll. Alright, that's all. Just, you can expend these to give your units reroll movements or charges or full rerolls to hit. Seems fine. Real Space Raiders. At the start of the battle, you gain 1 additional pain token from each of the following your army contains. Alright, so 1 Argigon, 1 Succubus, 1 Homunculi. Homunculus, how do you say it? They'll each give you 1 extra pain token. Then your strats are Prey on the Weak. Your shooting phase, 1 Cabal unit from your army and 1 enemy unit that is below half strength. Till end of the phase, each time when your unit makes an attack that targets that enemy unit, you reroll a wound roll. Alright, so you get to reroll wounds against units that are below half strength. Acrobatic Display. Your charge phase, 1 witch unit from your army. Till the end of the charge phase, your unit is eligible to declare a charge, even if fell back in advance this turn. Alright, that's cool. Strike and Fade. End of your shooting phase, 1 Drukhari unit from your army that's not an aircraft can immediately make a normal move. Until the end of the turn, the unit is not able to declare a charge and cannot embark with any transport at the end of this move. Then we got Alliance of Agony, which is start of any phase. 1 Arquebus, 1 Archon, 1 Succubus, and 1 Homunculus from your army. Discard 1 pain token from your pain token pool until the end of the phase. All 3 of those units are empowered. You can only use the stratagem if you're able to select all 3 of the targets stated above. So if you don't take 3 of these in your army, you can never use it. If you have 1 in reserve or 1 gets killed, you also can't use it. So that's really restrictive. Then Insensible to Pain. Your opponent's shooting phase or the fight phase, just an enemy unit selected as targets. 1 Homunculus covered unit from your army that was selected as the target of one of those attacks. So in this phase, each time an attack targets your unit, -1 to wound. Actually, make one of your Homunculus covered units -1 to wound. The Quicksilver Reactions. Your opponent's shooting phase or the fight phase, just after an enemy is selected as targets. 1 Drukhari unit from your army that was selected as one of those targets. So the end of the phase, each time an attack targets your unit, it's -1 to hit. Cannot be put on Homunculus covered units. Alright, and then with the enhancements here, we have Crucible of Malediction, which is Homunculus only. Once per battle, at the start of any shooting phase, the bearer can use this enhancement. When it does, every enemy unit within 12 must take a battle shock test. Subtracting 1 from that test if the bearer's unit is currently empowered. Each time a Psyker unit fails this test, it suffers D3 mortal wounds. Alright, so it's handing out battle shock test. You can make it -1 if you empower the unit, and this is in the shooting phase, and then if the Psyker fails the test, they take D3 mortal wounds. Succubus can take Blood Dancer, which is improve the attack's armor penetration characteristic of her weapons by 1, and while empowered, the attacks and armor penetration are increased by 2. Then we have Labyrinthine Cunning, Archon only. Each time you select the bearer's unit as target stratagem, roll a d6, adding 3 to the result if the stratagem is Alliance of Agony. Only 4+, you gain a CP. Art of Pain, Drukhari model only. In the command phase, if the bearer is on the battlefield, you gain 1 pain token. Alright, this one's alright. It's okay. None of these seem super strong. So far, the rules were okay. I'm sure there's something in there a little deeper. But then, oh, there we go. The rest of it so far seems a little just okay. But we'll see what we get in their data sheets. Archon T3, 4 up save, 4 wounds. You got a 2-up invul. You cannot re-roll it. First time he fails it, he has no invul after. Pretty much what Archons have always have. Blast Pistol, strength 8, negative 3d3 damage. Splinter Pistol is anti-infantry 3. House Blade is also anti-infantry 3. 5 attack, strength 3, negative 2 damage. Then he's an Overlord. While this model is leading a unit, each time a model in that unit makes an attack, reroll a wound roll of 1. When it's empowered, you can re-roll the wound roll instead. Alright, so he gets reroll once, and if the unit's empowered, reroll all wounds in the looks like fighting or shooting phase, just depends on when you want to empower them, but the other phase will get reroll once anyway. Devious Mastermind, once per battle, after your opponent uses a stratagem. Alright, so this is the Vect, which they should have, because the original started with them. So you make one of your opponent's things cost 1 extra CP. And then you can join the Court of the Archon or Cavalite Warriors. We got the Beastmaster here. He's T4 3 wounds. His Club Fiend is T4 5 wounds. Chimera is T4 2 wounds. Razor Wing Flock is T4 3 wounds. There's Splinter Pods. Clawed Fiend Fists are devastating wounds. Strength 5, negative 1, 2 damage. That's cool. Agonizer is anti-infantry 3 plus. Strength 3, negative 1, 1 damage. Nothing else really stands out there. Chimera Talons get lethal hits. Razor Wing 6 sustained hits 1. They can scout 9 inches, and then while this unit contains a Beastmaster model, you can roll charge rolls into this unit, and each time a Beast model this unit makes an attack, you roll a hit roll of 1. Alright, so the Beastmaster gives you reroll charges and rerolls 1s to hit. The unit is 1 Beastmaster, 1 Fiend, 2 Chimera, and 3 Razor Wing Flock. Then we get the Court of the Archon, T3 2 wounds. They get 1 Lamian, 1 Slith, 1 Urgle, 1 Medusa. Doesn't look like they split the profiles up at all. These all share a profile. Eye Burst is Pistol Torrent, D6 shot, strength 6, negative 1 damage. Charged Carbine is anti-infantry 3 assault. Splitter Pistol is anti-infantry 3 assault pistol. Then we get the Shemeshi Blade is anti-infantry 2, 4 attacks, strength 4, negative 1 damage. Slith Blade is 3 attacks, strength 5, negative 2 damage. And Urgal Talons gets sustained hits 1, 6 attacks, strength 4, 1 damage. And then the Lamian, while this unit contains 1 or more Lamian models, they get lethal hits. Medusa, in your shooting phase, after this unit has shot, if any of those attacks made with its eye burst scored a hit against an enemy infantry unit, that infantry unit must take a battle shock test. Alright, so you can force battle shocks. And then Slith, while this unit contains 1 or more Slith models, each time an attack targets this unit, subtract 1 from the wound roll. And as well, this unit contains 1 or more Urgal models. This unit has a fight first one. Alright, so I get a bunch of abilities. It's going to be a pain when you lose some of them to remember, oh, I lost this ability, but it's interesting that they stack all these abilities. Then we get Kronos, is T7, 7 wounds, OC2. Spirit Siphon is basically a flamer with a strength 5, negative 1 damage. Spirit Vortex is a blast, ignore cover. D6 shot, strength 5, negative 1 damage. Tentacles are strength 5, 1 damage. They get a 5 Feel No Pain. They have Pain Parasite, which is an aura. Each time a pain token is removed from your pain token pool to empower a unit, if that empowered unit is within 9 of this unit, roll a d6. On a 4-up, you gain 1 pain token. Alright, so if you empower units near them, you got a 50-50 shot at getting your pain token back. 1 to 2 units. We got Drazar, who's T3 5 wounds. He's got the Executioner's Demiglaive, which has 2 attacks. Single blade is devastating wounds, strength 5 attacks, strength 6, negative 3 damage. Or if he swings it dual-bladed, it's a twin link, strength 7 attacks, strength 5, negative 2 damage. Well. Then Master of Blades, while he's leading a unit, add 1 to the wound roll. And then Vicious Execution. Once per battle, when this model's unit is selected to fight, it can use this ability. If it does, until the end of the phase, melee weapons equipped by this model have the precision ability. And each time an enemy character model is destroyed by this model, you gain D3 pain tokens. If the destroyed character was your enemy warlord, you gain 3, just flat 3 instead, and you get the 4 hit roll. Alright, so he gets +1 to his unit, probably Incubi, and then he can give himself precision once per battle. Yep, joins Incubi. We got the Grotesques here. They're T5, 4 wounds, 6 up save, with only a 6 up inroll. They have a liquefier gun, D6 shot, strength 4, and 1 damage, torrent. Monstrous weapons are 4 attack, strength 5, and 2 damage, and they get 5 up feel no pain. Mindless killing machines. Each time a model in this unit is destroyed by a melee attack, if the model has not fought this phase, roll a d6 on a 4, so they have a 4 final death. We take it in 3 to 6 models. Then you have Homunculus, is T4, 5 wounds. Stinger Pistol is Anti-Infantry 2, Pistol Precision, Strength 2, -1 D3. His Tools and Scissor Hands are Anti-Infantry 2, Precision, Strength 3, -1 D3. He gets a 5 up feel no pain. While this model is leading a unit, they get a 4 up feel no pain. While an enemy unit is within 6 of this model, each time a battle shock or leadership is taken, subtract 1 from the test. So he can lead racks. We got the Hellions, T4, 2 wounds, Splinter Pistol, Splinter Pods. Heliarch weapon is Anti-Infantry 3, sustain hits 1, Strength 3, -1 damage. Hellblade is sustain hits 1, Strength 4, -1 2 damage. They have hit and run, so they can shoot and charge if they fell back. And then if they take their grenade launcher, they get their grenade keyword. I can take them in a unit of between 5 and 10. Incubi, T3, 1 wound. Clavix, T3, 2 wounds. They have the Dimoclaves, single, and then dual. So the single is 3 attacks, strength 4, -2 damage. The dual blades gain 3 attacks, but lose 1 AP and 1 damage. And then the regular clave is 3 attacks, strength 4, -2 damage. And then the Tormentors, at the start of the fight phase, each time an enemy unit engages the range of 1 or more units with this ability must take a battle shock test. Alright, so just being in combat with them causes battle shock. That's nice. 5 to 10 models. Cavalite Warriors, T3, 1 wound. Blast Pistol, Blaster, Dark Lance is 1 shot, strength 12, makes their D6 +2. Shredder, Splinter Cannon, Splinter Pistol, Splinter Rifle. Sivrite Raffin is Anti-Infantry 3+, strength 3, -1 damage. So it takes Sadistic Raiders. They control objective marker at the end of your command phase, and this unit or any transport it's embarked in is within range of it. So they give you sticky objectives even if they're in a transport. That's a really good roll. That's really nice. And once again, they can gain their grenade keyword. 10-man units only. We got Lilith, T3, 4 wounds. Lilith's blades are Anti-Infantry 2 and sustain hits 2, 8 attack, strength 3, -2, 1 damage. Fights first. Brides of Death. Once model is leading a unit, models in that unit have the Fights First ability. Each time a model in that unit makes a melee attack, add 1 of the strength characteristics of that attack and improve the armor penetration of that attack by 1. Alright, so she goes Fight First, +1 strength and +1 AP to in combat to her girls. And then Throwing Spectacle. Once her battle at the start of the fight phase, this model can use this ability. When it does, until the end of the phase, the attack characteristics of her blades is increased to 12 and her invul to 3. Alright, so once her battle, you can give her 4 extra attacks and give her +1 invul. She doing switches. We got Mandrakes, which are T3, 1 wound. They have a Bale Blast, which is Assault, Devastating Wounds, 2 shots, strength 5, 1 damage. And then the Glimmer Steel Blade is just strength 5, 1 damage. They have Infiltrator and Stealth. They have Fade Away. At the end of your opponent's turn, if this unit is not within engagement range of 1 or more enemy units, you can move this unit from the battlefield in the reinforcement step to the next movement phase. So they can, at the end of your opponent's turn, if they're not in engagement range, basically just pick up and then come back at the end of your reinforcement step. So that's really nice. It gives you a lot of maneuverability. 5 to 10 man model unit. Raider, T8, 10 wounds, OC2. Dark Lance and Disintegrator Cannon. You've seen the Dark Lance Disintegrator is 3 shots, 25 2 damage. Blade Veins give them strength 6, 1 damage attack. Firing deck of 11. They have Aether Sails. Each time this model advances, do not make it up, so they get just add 6 to their move when they advance. They can hold 11 Drukhari infantry. Grotesques take up 3 spaces, so you can look up 3 Grotesques in there. Cannot transport models that can fly. We got the Ravager, which is T9 11 wounds. Same weapons. You just take more of them. Eradicate the foe. Each time this model makes an attack that targets an enemy unit that is at its starting strength, reroll hit roll of 1. If a unit has a starting strength of 1, this ability only applies to the target has its starting number of wounds. Alright, so a unit hasn't taken any damage yet, basically. They get to reroll hits of 1. And this is a 1 model unit. We got the Razor Wing Jet Fighter, which is T8 10 wounds, OC 0. Then they get the Razor Wing Missiles. They have Monoscythe Missiles, which are Blast, D6 shots, strength 6, and 2 damage. They have Neurotoxin Missiles, which are Anti-Infantry 2 Blast, D6 plus 3 shots, strength 2, 1 damage. And then they have the Shatterfield Missiles, which are Blast, D6 shots, strength 7, and 1 damage. Then they get a Twin Splinter Rifle and a Splinter Cannon. They're Bladed Wings. And then they have Stealth. Ground Attack Craft. Each time this model makes a ranged attack that targets the enemy unit, excluding units that can fly, add 1 to the hit. So it's plus 1 to hit against everything that's not fly. We got Reavers, T4, 2 wounds, OC 2. Blaster, they can take a Heat Lance too, which is strength 14, make 4d6 damage. Then they get an Agonizer, which are anti-infantry 3, 4 attack, strength 3, 1 damage. Eviscerating Flyby, each time this unit ends a normal move, you can select one enemy unit, excluding monster and vehicle, that it moved over during that move. If you do, roll 1d6 for each model in this unit. On a 4+, that enemy unit suffers 1 mortal. Alright, so they can hand out mortals for just flying over stuff. They take the Cluster Caltrops. Each time you roll to inflict wounds using this unit's Eviscerate Flyby, you can reroll 1d6 for each model in this unit equipped with Cluster Caltrops. Alright, so it gives you a better chance of doing the mortals. Then you grab talent, you can give your melee weapon to Lance. You take between 3 and 6. Scourges, T3 1 wound. Blaster Lance, Drukhari. We get a Drukhari Haywire Blaster, which is Assault Anti-Vehicle 4, devastating wounds heavy. 2 shots, strength 3, negative 1 3 damage. I believe you've seen the rest of this. Then Winged Strike, in your shooting phase, after shooting a shot, if it's not within engagement range, it can move up to 6 inches, and it can't charge. Alright, so they get a move after shoot. They're once again 5 to 10 for this unit. We get your Succubus, T3 4 wounds. Blast for this one, Succubus weapons, strength 3, negative 1 damage. Sora Blades, while this model is looting a unit, gives them sustained hit 1s, and then if this model is empowered in the fight phase, till the end of the phase, model's unit gets fights first. Oh, that's really nice. So you give her unit fight first, and she already gives them sustained hit 1. She joins Witches. Talos is T7, 7 wounds, OC 2. You got a Haywire Blaster that's Twin Link, Twin Heat Lance, Twin Link. So we've seen all these weapons, just they get the Twin Link for some of them. Then Chain Flails, Macro Scalpel is strength 7, 2 damage. His Gauntlet is strength 8, 3 damage. And his Ejector is extra attacks, just 1 though, strength 7, 2 damage. Field of Pain 5+. If this unit destroys an enemy unit till the end of the battle, it's empowered. Or if they kill a unit, they stay empowered for the rest of the game. 1 to 2 models. We got Urian Reckhearth, is T4 5 wounds. He has Casket of Cleansing, which is devastating wounds, 1 shot torrent, 3 to 6 shots, strength 3, negative 1 damage. That'd be funny to Overwatch people with. Then Homunculus Tools and Scissor Hands, we've seen those before. Hey, get the Fort Feel No Pain. At the end of your movement phase, this model can heal 1 friendly Kronos, Talos, Grotesque, or Rack unit within 6. If it does, 1 model in that unit regains up to 3 lost wounds. If you selected a Rack unit, up to 3 destroyed models will return to that unit instead. And then a Horrific Regeneration. First time this model is destroyed, roll d6, roll 2+, set this model back up on the battlefield as close as possible to where it was destroyed, not within engagement range of enemy units with its full wounds remaining. Alright, so first time he dies, you got a good chance to bring him back full strength. He can join Racks. We got your Venom here, which is T6, 6 wounds. Splitter Cannon, Twin Splinter Rifle. Firing deck is 6. It has stealth and deep strike. Athletic aerialist. At the end of the fight phase, if there are no models currently embarked within this transport, you can select one friendly Drukhari infantry unit within 6, or fewer models that is fully within 6 of this transport. You cannot select grotesques or units that can fly. Unless that unit is within engagement range of one of our units, you can embark within this transport. Alright, so basically at the end of the fight phase, you can possibly jump back into Venoms. Then we got the Void Raven Bomber, T9, 12 wounds. Void Raven missiles are Implosion Missile Blast, D3 shot, strength 9, do 3 damage, or Shatterfield Blast, D6, strength 7, 1 damage. And also has stealth. Once per battle, after this unit ends a normal move, you can select one enemy model and move over during that move. Roll 1d6 for each enemy unit within d6 of that model. On a 4+, they suffer d6 mortal wounds. Once per battle, after this unit ends a normal move, you can select one enemy model and move over during that move. Roll 1d6 for each enemy unit within d6 of that enemy model. On a 4+, that enemy unit suffers d6 mortal wounds. Alright, so basically you figure out how many enemy units are close to it, and you roll one dice to so you fly over an enemy unit, and then you determine how many other, or an enemy model, you determine how many other enemy units are within range of that one, and you roll that many d6, and on 4 you do d6 mortal wounds. Alright. So for each 4 you do d6 mortal wounds, that could be big. Once again, it doesn't have hover though. Then we got your racks, which are T4 1 wound, OC2. They have the Hex Rifle, which is heavy precision, strength 6, nature 3 damage. Looking for they have the Asa Factor, anti-infantry 4 devastating wounds, strength 2, nature 2 damage. And then Rack Blades are anti-infantry 4, strength 3, 1 damage. They have a Feel No Pain 5+. Torture's Cast. Each time this unit destroys an enemy unit, you gain 1 pain token. When this unit is destroyed, you gain 1 pain token. Alright, so they help you gain pain tokens. 5 to 10 man unit. Then we got your Witches, which are T3 1 wound. They get Hecatari Blades, which are 3 attacks, strength 2, 1 damage. And then No Escape. Each time an enemy unit, excluding muscular vehicles, within an engagement range of 1 or more units from your army with this ability is selected to fall back. Models in that enemy unit must take a Desperate Escape test as if it would their unit's battle shock. And if they were battle shocked already, they get negative 1 to the test. You give them a grenade keyword. They only come in 10 remaining units. Alright, so there's some really cool things in there. I definitely liked that you can sticky objectives while sitting inside your transports. They look like they got some good speed. Yeah, so I think they should be fine. You're going to get probably normally Dark Eldar are going to put lots of units on the table, so no unit data sheet looks like, oh my god, this is the most amazing thing, but none of them look bad. It's just the fact that you'll be able to take a lot of them and use all these rules lots of times, and then being able to empower when you need to. They look really interesting. I'm interested to see how now over the next couple of weeks as the games start to get in, how all this shakes out, if what we think is good ends up being good, or if we're a little shocked as to what ends up rising toward the top. But that's it for now, and thank you for watching.